Revealed, the incredible touching journey of first love that transformed 1 million hearts forever. In the sleepy town of Willow Creek, where dreams danced like shadows in the golden morning light, 17-year-old Emily Chase fought to carve her path as an artist amid the hard edges of family life on the farm. Mornings rose with the sun spilling over fields, painting golden hues on the worn farmhouse that held her family's history, a history deeply intertwined with struggle. Her mother's relentless spirit kept the farm running on sheer grit, while her father's haunted gaze, forever lost in a whiskey glass, painted a different picture of home. It was a typical summer afternoon when everything shifted for Emily. Jake Thompson, an enchanting presence from Willow Creek's wealthiest family, entered her world in a whirlwind of charm and laughter. Their connection sparked like fireflies under the starlit sky, igniting secret dreams they whispered amidst the night. They laughed amid summer festival lights, sharing secrets and simple moments that felt like magic until the whispers began, wrapping around Emily like a shroud of doubt. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, the pressure mounted with each glance from Jake's parents, their disdain radiating like heat waves. Emily felt the sting of their judgment, the weight of her family's insignificance pressing down on her dreams. As their love blossomed, the chasm of social class widened, splitting friendships and uncovering hidden prejudices. The annual Harvest Festival was supposed to be a celebration, but instead, it became a battleground. In that moment, standing at the festival's heart, Emily's world felt poised on the edge of transformation. She confronted Jake's parents with trembling courage, her heart racing, the crowd's murmurs swelling like a nervous tide around her. Fear mixed with determination as she spoke from her heart, her voice clear and strong. She saw emotions ripple across the townsfolk: curiosity, admiration, and envy. Would loves triumph, or would societal chains bind them? As the lights flickered, she felt it deep in her bones, a moment that could redefine love, class, and the tight-knit fabric of Willow Creek. A revealing truth flickered in her mind, one that had always rested in the shadows. In the heat of embarrassment and truth, she noticed Jake moving closer, his eyes brimming with understanding and a silent promise. As the whispers grew louder and the world around her thrummed like a heart ready to burst, Emily found herself teetering on the brink of a new chapter. The revelation simmered just beneath the surface, waiting to change everything for them both. Would they shatter the walls that divided them, or would they both get lost in the fray? In that moment of undeniable connection, everything hung in the balance, waiting for the dawn that might just bring hope, or could plunge them deeper into despair. The festival lights blinked above Emily, casting an ethereal glow upon the crowd. As the murmurs rippled, she felt the heat of their gaze like 1,000 suns trained on her. It was overwhelming, but there was also a flicker of hope igniting in her chest, a courage swelling to the forefront. Enough. Emily's voice broke through the noise, clear and unwavering. The crowd stilled, faces turning toward her as if she had performed an act of magic. This isn't just about wealth or status. It's about who we are, what we choose to see in one another. Jake's parents exchanged sharp glances, their expressions a mixture of shock and disdain. But Emily stood her ground, locked in a silent battle with their judgment. She could feel Jake's presence beside her, an anchor amid the tempest of uncertainty. It was as if he understood everything: her fears, her aspirations, the love that dared to bloom in the cracks of disapproval. Love doesn't come with a price tag, she continued, her heart racing, and it certainly doesn't need permission from anyone. I won't stand here and let rumors shatter what we've built together. A ripple of whispers surged through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement, their eyes lighting up with admiration. Others recoiled, gripping their drinks tightly, unsure how to respond. The divide between acceptance and disdain became palpably real, drawing lines in the warm summer air. Who do you think you are? One of Jake's family friends shouted, his voice slicing through the tension like a knife. It was a challenge, pushing back against Emily's brave declaration. "You think you belong here?" Before she could respond, Jake stepped forward, his hand finding hers, a grounding force in her turbulent emotions. "No one owns love," he said firmly, his voice steady. "Emily belongs beside me, and I will fight for her. We both deserve that chance." The crowd shifted again. A few murmurs of support transformed into scattered applause. Hope flickered like the festival lights, vulnerable but alive. Emily's heart soared, but deeper than that was the fear of what could come next. Would the wave of kindness sweep through the crowd, or would they retreat to their old ways, built on tradition and pride? Suddenly, a loud crack of thunder echoed from the distance, a storm brewing just beyond the horizon. The sky darkened, sending a wave of unease washing over the festival attendees. People began to pull away, packing up their stands, a sense of urgency settling in like a heavy fog. "Maybe we should go," Jake suggested, concern lacing his tone. "No." Emily shook her head, stubbornness igniting her spirit. Deep down, she felt this was a pivot point, a moment of reckoning not just for them, but for the town. "Let us stay. We can weather this storm together." As they stood united under the gathering clouds, they realized that to face this tempest was not just about the storm above, but the one raging in their hearts. Changes had begun, whether the town was ready or not. They were on the edge, teetering toward unknown possibilities that could lead to freedom or heartache. Just then, a lightning bolt cracked across the sky, illuminating everything for a brief moment. Their intertwined hands, the faces of those watching, the tension that hung in the air. Would this storm bring them closer, washing away old prejudices, or would the winds of the past tear them apart? This was just the beginning, and Emily felt the weight of destiny pushing her forward, urging her to make a choice that could shape their future. Then, amidst the rising chaos, the first raindrop fell. Would it be the start of something beautiful, or a harbinger of despair? The rain started slowly, a gentle patter on the festival tents that quickly morphed into a downpour. The crowd erupted into chaos. People scrambled to protect their belongings, their laughter turned to shouts of surprise and panic. Amidst the upheaval, Emily and Jake stood resolute, their hands still tightly clasped. "Stay close to me," Jake shouted, trying to offset the tumult around them. Emily could barely hear him over the thrumming rain, every drop striking her skin like a pinprick. But instead of pulling away, she clung tighter to him. "You're not scared?" she asked, her face illuminated by bursts of lightning that he looked down at her, a smile breaking through the storm around them. "I'm scared, yeah. But I'm more scared of losing you." Her heart raced, a new kind of fire igniting within. In the face of the storm, everything else, the crowd's judgment, the fear of the future, faded into the background. For a brief moment, it was just the two of them against the world, and it felt liberating. The rain intensified, drenching the festival ground. The vibrant decorations, once twinkling with life, began to sag under the weight of the water. But in the chaos, Emily spotted a familiar face, Megan, her best friend since childhood, struggling to keep her stall upright. "Emily! Help!" Megan cried, her voice strained. Without thinking, Emily darted through the crowd, navigating between startled festival-goers. She arrived just in time to support a sagging awning, her heart thumping with adrenaline. "Megan, hold it steady!" Emily shouted as she pressed against the canvas. Together, they braced under the weight of the storm. As droplets cascaded down, Megan looked up, her eyes wide with admiration. "You've got guts, girl. Is this what love does?" Emily chuckled despite the tension. "If love means getting wet and wild for someone, then yeah." Jake joined them, pulling up his sleeves. "We've got to save this. Let us rally everyone." To her surprise, the crowd began to converge. Individuals who had moments before been hesitant and judgmental rallied under Emily's brave stance. People started to lift up their decorations and supports, sweeping away the fear with a collective purpose. The atmosphere shifted, transforming chaos into camaraderie. "We can't let this storm ruin our festival," Jake yelled, rallying cheers from the crowd. The energy shifted. They were no longer separated by wealth or status, but united by a common goal to save the celebration. As Emily looked around, she saw faces lit by determination. Strangers became allies, and the magic of community surged through the air. Maybe the storm was a blessing in disguise. It would wash away their fears and prejudices, leaving a new vision for the town, but just as hope began sprouting, an old voice cut through, familiar and piercing. "What do you think you're doing, Emily?" Jake's mother stood at the edge of the chaos, her face a storm of anger and disbelief. The crowd hesitated, turmoil creeping back as Emily turned to face her. "I'm trying to show everyone what true love means." "True love?" She scoffed. "You think this charade can overcome what we've built?" Lightning flashed once more, illuminating the riptide of emotions swirling around them. Would Emily's truth survive the scrutiny of Jake's past? A weight settled over her, but instead of retreating, an idea sparked inside. "No, it can't do it alone. But love is meant to grow, to change us. You just need to see it." As raindrops blurred her vision, she felt Jake's presence solidify beside her, a constant amidst uncertainty. The challenge thrown at her stood stark and real, but all at once the choice loomed large. She could give in or continue to stand. With her heart racing fiercely, Emily took a deep breath and prepared to face the storm for her love, or potentially, for her life. Would she be able to convince everyone of the power of acceptance in a town so set in its ways? And would Jake stand beside her as the fight for their future unfolded? The wind howled, and rain hammered down like a relentless percussion. Emily's heart thundered back in response to her adrenaline. She felt exposed, each droplet of water amplifying the swirling tension surrounding her and Jake. His mother stood there, grounded in her disapproval, yet in that moment, Emily could almost hear the weight of the town's expectations pressing against both their shoulders. "Mom, look around!" Jake shouted, stepping forward. It was a spark in a dark room, his voice firm yet laced with desperation. "This isn't just about us, it's about everyone here. Look at how we're all coming together." The crowd was a mass of drenched, hopeful faces now, their eyes reflecting the power that was blossoming within them. One by one, people began to echo Jake's plea. "Yeah. We can do this together." Someone called out, raising a soaked banner in a gesture of solidarity. Emily felt the energy shift. It was as if the storm itself were urging them on. Her pulse quickened when she turned back to Jake's mother, who stood unmoved, arms crossed tightly. "This isn't just a festival, it's a chance for our community to let go of old grudges and embrace what we can become," Emily said, her voice steadying that in the downpour. She saw the glimmers of possibility. Each splash of rain was like a challenge thrown out, a chance to redefine everything they knew. "We need to let compassion flow like this rain," she added, her heart soaring with conviction. For a fleeting moment, the tension in Jake's mother's face flickered, doubt creeping in, perhaps. Emily seized that instant. If we can stand together despite the storms, think about what that love can really do. Still, Jake's mother held her ground, skepticism etched across her features. She glanced from Emily to her son, as if trying to decipher the bond they shared, the risks they were willing to take. Megan poked her head through the crowd, drenched but beaming. "Remember when we all climbed that tree to escape the summer heat? We had no idea if it was safe or if we'd even make it to the top. Yet we did it together." Her words rang true, pulling smiles from the crowd like a magician revealing a hidden joke. The honesty in her laughter pierced the tension, and people nodded, reminiscing warm memories flooding their hearts, softening the hard edges of their fears. Jake stepped forward again, locking eyes with Emily. "Mom, I want you to know I won't let this love get swept away. I'd rather stand in the rain with Emily than hide in the shelter of your expectations." His words hung in the air, raw and fierce. That was the moment Emily felt the tide turning. There was a deep breath from the crowd, not of resignation, but of determination. She could see people steadying themselves, taking pride in facing the downpour. They were stepping toward unity, challenging the storm together. But then, with uncharacteristic ferocity, Jake's mother uncrossed her arms. "I don't want you hurt, Jake. You have to understand that there are reasons for everything in the moment." Emily understood the weight of love in those words. Love was not just about choosing, it was also about letting go. As tensions rose, Emily's heart beat with hope. Could love indeed bridge the gulf between them? Would Jake's mother finally understand that true love came with risks worth taking? With the rain still pouring and the world swirling around them, they stood at a precarious cliff of truth. Emily felt it, the tension of potential, the sharp inhale before the leap. What would happen next? Would the storm cleanse their past and let new beginnings emerge? Would Jake's mother finally see the truth shining through the raindrops? Their future hung in the balance, and as thunder rolled overhead, it became clear the real battle was just beginning. The roar of the storm echoed their uncertainty, but in the chaos, Jake's voice cut through like a beacon. "Mom, please just listen." Emily could see the struggle in Jake's eyes, the way he was reaching for understanding, not just love. The crowd grew silent, their breath suspended in the air, waiting for a response that could shift the tide. Jake's mother squinted against the rain, her brow knitted with confusion and a hint of worry. "You think this is easy for me?" She shot back, her voice rising, almost lost to the wind. "You're throwing away your future for what? A fling? What happens when the rain stops and reality sets in?" The anger in her tone was a natural response, like thunder rolling after lightning. Emily could feel herself shrinking under the weight of the accusation. It wasn't just about love, it was a fight for validity, for acceptance. "Mom, it's not a fling," Jake pleaded, stepping closer, his voice softening. "What I have with Emily, it's real. And it's scary, but it's worth it." His gaze was steady, locking onto his mother's, refusing to shy away from the challenge. The wind whipped around them, yet within that storm, a different kind of stillness grew. Slowly, Jake's mother unclenched her fists, her shoulders dropping just a fraction. A flicker of vulnerability emerged in her expression, forcing Emily to hold her breath. "Love isn't just about following your heart, Jake. It's about safety and security, it's about thinking long-term." She paused, eyes glancing at the crowd, uncertainty swirling like the wind itself. "What do you think they'll think of me if you get hurt?" Emily, sensing the moment slipping away, stepped forward. "But what about what they'll think if we don't try? If we don't embrace the love that's right in front of us?" Her heart raced, each word a gamble. Would it be enough? A murmur washed over the crowd, and she could see faces glancing at one another, contemplating the risks they'd faced before. "Jake's right, love is worth the risk," someone called out, their voice trembling yet full of conviction. That a chorus of affirmations followed, weaving through the rain, turning fear into support. "We're here for all of you," Megan shouted again, her hand raised high. Emily felt the warmth of their encouragement seep into her, igniting a spark of hope. Jake joined her side, their shoulders touching, drawing strength from one another. Together, they were an anchor amidst the storm, a testament to the power of unity. Still, Jake's mother stood unsure, her features twisted in conflict. "I've only ever wanted to protect you, Jake." Tears glistened in her eyes as she gazed at him, revealing the depth of her love wrapped in worry. The tension vibrated between heartbeats, but Emily sensed shift. Underneath that resolve was a mother's heart, battling her own fears. What if Emily began, her voice softer now, what if love proved to be the greatest strength we have to face the storms ahead? Jake and Emily held their breath, waiting for the grip of fear to loosen its hold on Jake's mother. She looked deep into her son's eyes, and for a fleeting moment, Emily saw the walls crack. "I just want you to be happy," she murmured, her voice low, the storm's roar fading slightly. "But what if it all goes wrong?" Jake's gaze grew fierce, the determination unwavering as he clasped Emily's hand. "Then it's still worth it. We'll face whatever happens together." Every eye was on them, the crowd now pulsing with collective anticipation, their own struggles laid bare before the storm. And as the rain continued to drench them, each beat of Emily's heart thundered with possibility. Would love break through the storm of doubt? Could Jake's mother find it in her heart to embrace their truth? With the storm raging on, the question hung heavy in the air, and all they could do was wait. What would be the final answer? Would acceptance rise from the chaos? The storm was relentless, but so was the love swirling in that intimate circle. As the wind howled and rain slapped against skin, Jake's mother wrestled with a decision weighing heavier than the storm clouds above. Emily glanced over at Jake, his grip tightening around her hand, a silent promise that they could weather anything together. "Mom," Jake spoke again, this time softer, more grounded. "I need you to see that this isn't reckless. We're building something meaningful. Something worth fighting for." The noise from the crowd dimmed as Jake's calm voice wrapped around them, a lifeline pulling everyone closer. Emily could see the wavering walls of Jake's mother begin to tremble, the firmness in her jaw began to soften as the truth settled in. "Did you ever think," she began, voice shaky as she looked at Emily. "Did you ever think about the consequences? The heartbreak?" There was fear etched across her face, a mother's worst dread looming over them. Emily inhaled deeply, wishing she could reach through the storm and gift her the clarity she had found in Jake's arms. "I think about that every day," she admitted, her voice steady and true. "But I also think about the beauty that comes with taking a chance. Love can be scary, but it can also be the light guiding us through the darkest nights." The crowd seemed to lean in, as if they were experiencing the moment right along with them. Emily felt the warmth of their collective hope, pushing her forward. "We don't know what will happen tomorrow. Life is unpredictable. But isn't that what makes it beautiful? The excitement? The adventure?" Jake's mother flinched, taking a half step back as if hit by the weight of her own fears. Yet, in that same breath, she glanced up into the downpour like she was searching for an answer. "Love is not just about passion," she finally replied, voice barely audible under the patter of rain. "It's about stability and choices that last. You think you're ready, but you're still so young." "Mom." Jake interrupted, the desperation in his voice echoing across the crowd. "What if love is our stability? What if it's what we need to face these decisions? I know what I'm feeling is real. I know who I want to be with. Can't you trust me even just a little?" Tension crackled in the air, like the cusp right before thunder splits the sky. For a brief moment, Emily saw it, the longing in Jake's mother's eyes, a wish to protect, to shield him from everything that could go wrong, but also a glimmer of hope flickering to life. "I only want what's best for you, Jake," she whispered, her voice breaking slightly, drowning in the chaos. "But it terrifies me. I need to know you're not just chasing a dream. What's a dream without someone to share it with?" Jake replied, and in that moment, the fear in his mother's eyes started to melt. "We'll face it all together. If it gets tough, I'll be there. Emily will be there. We are strong enough to hold each other up no matter what happens." The crowd erupted in an empowering roar of support. Joy and encouragement surged like a wave, wrapping around them like a comfort blanket. Emily's heart swelled, sensing the tide shifting. Would Jake's mother finally surrender to the potential of love and its safety and togetherness? With her eyes shimmering from the relentless rain and unspilled tears, Jake's mother lingered in silence. The corners of her lips quivered, and every heartbeat echoed the magnitude of the moment. "It's not just about you, Jake," she finally whispered, her voice quaking. Then, out of nowhere, a small voice piped up from the crowd, "What if love was the answer we didn't know we were looking for?" Each word resonated, buzzing through Emily's thoughts, electrifying the tension in the air. What would Jake's mother decide? Would love emerge triumphant, or would doubt snuff it out? All they could do was wait, one breath closer to the answer that could change everything. Silence enveloped them, broken only by the storm's persistent drumming. Every heart seemed to beat in sync, a collective anticipation that hung thick in the air. Emily could see the struggle etched on Jake's mother's face as a small crowd began to shift. Some leaned in closer, while others exchanged hushed whispers, waiting for direction from the woman holding their hopes. Jake squeezed Emily's hand tighter, a gesture that felt both reassuring and desperate. He met his mother's gaze, unyielding but soft, a testament to the love that had anchored him through the turbulent years. "I know this is hard for you," he finally said, his voice cutting through the onslaught of rain. "But you taught me what love looks like. And I'm trying to be brave, just like you were for me." A slight tremor ran through Jake's mother as she glanced around at the faces filling the space around them. She was trapped in a moment where the weight of past decisions pressed heavy against the hopes of the future. Everyone was watching, waiting for her to decide. Would she embrace what was unfolding before her, or would she retreat into the safety of caution? "Bravery feels different for everyone," she murmured, her voice still wavering. "What if your bravery leads to heartbreak?" "Heartbreak is a part of life," Jake countered, an urgency building in his tone. "But sitting here, keeping my heart locked away, that's the real risk. Love isn't a choice, Mom. It's something you jump into, even when you can't see the bottom. If we don't give ourselves a chance, how will we ever know what's possible?" At that moment, the rain seemed to lighten, as if the sky itself was taking a breath. For a fleeting second, Emily sensed a shift in the air, an invitation for vulnerability. People in the crowd began to nod, sharing Jake's conviction. They could feel the energy flow like electricity, charging the atmosphere with something more powerful than fear, faith. "Mom," Jake said again, softer this time, his eyes brimming with sincerity. "What if this isn't about fear at all? What if it's about connection? About trusting not just each other, but ourselves?" Jake's mother recoiled slightly, torn between two worlds, the one she dreamed of for her son and the messy reality in front of her. Caught between duty and desire, her heart betrayed her mind, struggling to find footing. "Please," Jake pleaded, his voice rising above the storm. "Don't let fear dictate our lives. We're asking for your blessing, not your worry." Jessica, a friend from the crowd, stepped forward. "You know, love doesn't follow a strict path. It can get messy, but people grow. It's not about having it all together, it's about getting it together, together." Her words hung in the air, turning heads. The rain began to taper off and sunlight peeked through the clouds, illuminating the path before them. Emily watched as hope flickered in Jake's mother's eyes, then suddenly, in a moment that felt like a wild gust of wind, she took a step forward, her heart wide open. "I just want you to promise me one thing," she said, voice steady, tears mingling with raindrops on her cheeks. "What is it?" Jake asked, holding his breath. "Promise me you'll never stop sharing your dreams. I want to see you grow, even through the pain. Promise me you'll always talk to me. That you won't let this love become a secret." The crowd erupted into cheers, and Jake swept Emily up in a tight embrace, disbelief and joy mixing in every fiber of their beings. They had crossed a boundary, stepping into a new light, but as the crowd celebrated, an uneasy silence stirred within Emily. Could love indeed be strong enough to guide them through what lay ahead? Her thoughts raced as Jake's mother turned her gaze back toward the horizon where a new storm, invisible yet inevitable, loomed on the edges of their newfound happiness. Was this the beginning of light, or was there yet another storm waiting to break? As laughter and joy surrounded them, one question remained: was love truly resilient enough to face whatever challenges awaited on the horizon? As cheers erupted around them, Emily lost herself in the moment, letting the warmth of acceptance envelop her. Jake's arms tightened around her, their laughter blending with the whispered hopes of the crowd. It felt like they had solidified a bond deeper than she ever imagined possible, yet, as she scanned the jubilant faces, doubt flickered like a shadow at the back of her mind. The cautious gaze of Jake's mother lingered on the horizon, as if she were trying to foresee what the future might bring. Emily's heart raced with a mix of hope and worry. What if this happiness was just the calm before a raging storm? The crowd began to disperse, their jubilation gradually fading, replaced by small groups of families gathering close together against the lingering chill in the air. Emily felt Jake pull away slightly, his brow furrowed ever so slightly. She noticed it instantly, a small crack in his fortified confidence. "Are you okay?" she whispered, concern lining her voice. Jake nodded but didn't meet her eyes. "Yeah, just, a lot to process. I mean, we took a huge step today. My mom. I think she really wants to understand. But what?" Emily prodded gently. "But she is still scared. I could see it on her face. What if she reverts back to her old way of thinking? What if she doesn't fully support us in the end?" There was a tremor in his voice, a vulnerability that made Emily's heart ache. She squeezed his hand tighter, grounding him in their connection. "You said love is something we jump into. Maybe it's also something we build together. We can show her, day by day, that this is real." For a moment, silence settled around them again. It wasn't a comfortable silence, but an electric one, buzzing with unspoken fears. The world around them became a blur as they focused on the intensity of their shared gaze. But could our love survive the questions? The doubts? Jake's voice broke slightly, revealing his inner storm. "Jake, we've come this far, haven't we?" Emily replied, her heart racing. "You opened that door. We just have to keep walking through it." As he processed her words, a small, tentative smile broke through his uncertainty. Just then, his mother approached them, her face soft with a mix of worry and determination. "I just want to check how you both are feeling," she said, her voice surprisingly calm. "Today was monumental. But there's still a lot for all of us to figure out." Emily saw the sincerity in her eyes. "We're okay," Jake assured her. "We really appreciate your support. We'll make this work, no matter what it takes." His mother nodded, a shimmering hope crossing her features. "Okay. Just remember, love often takes time, and that's okay." As they stood together, a faint rainbow peeked through the remnants of the storm clouds. It felt like a sign, a reminder of possibilities that lay on the other side of the trials they would face. Yet, amid the growing optimism, unease hummed beneath. Late in the afternoon, as shadows began to stretch across the ground, Emily's phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out, her heart skipping a beat at the sight of a message from her brother. The one person she wished had been there, and yet. "It's my brother. He wants to talk. I should. Are you going to?" Jake asked, observing her hesitation. "I don't know," Emily replied, her heart racing with uncertainty. "He could be complicated." Jake's fingers brushed against her cheek. "You need to do what feels right for you. No pressure. Just be honest." With one last glance at Jake, she nodded and walked a few paces away, needing space for the impending conversation. As she opened the message, her heart sank. The word sent a chill down her spine. It was a reminder of family fractures she couldn't ignore. What if this call turned everything upside down again? Jake watched her with concern, sensing the shift. The laughter evaporated into fear of the unknown. Would this be the moment that changed everything again? As Emily took a deep breath, preparing for a conversation that could unravel them all, a new question loomed on the horizon. Was it possible for love to mend what seemed irreparably broken? Emily felt the weight of her brother's message bearing down on her. She stood there, veins thrumming with anxiety, the happiness they just shared fading like the last rays of the sun. She looked back at Jake, who was watching her with a mixture of worry and support, but she couldn't keep the tension from settling in her stomach. With a shaky breath, she opened the thread. It read simply, "We need to talk. It's important." The urgency of the message made her pulse race. Images flashed in her mind, arguments they'd had, the way he had always been protective of her, and how he never truly understood her choices, especially now that her heart was tangled with Jake's. She didn't want to drag Jake into this complicated family drama, yet she felt an overwhelming duty to respond. With every second that passed, she felt the air grow thicker. This could change everything, she whispered under her breath, more to herself than to Jake. Emily. Jake's voice brought her back from the precipice of doubt. What is going on? She spun to face him, emotion tightly coiled within her. It's my brother. He wants to talk. I think he might. Is he upset about us? Jake interrupted, his eyes searching hers for clues. I don't know. Emily sighed, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. The uncertainty gnawed at her. He has always been protective. He might just need time to understand, but I'm scared. Jake stepped closer, the warmth radiating from him like a shield. Whatever happens, I'm here for you. Just remember, you have a choice. You don't have to do this alone. His words struck her deep. In that moment, she realized she had a choice. She could stand firm against the tides of her family's expectations, or she could embrace the love that felt like a force of nature. With a newfound clarity, she typed back quickly, her thumbs flying over the screen. Okay. I'll call you soon. Just be patient. After hitting send, Emily felt a strange mix of relief and anxiety wash over her. She turned back to Jake, who was still watching her intently. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to create tension, she mumbled, feeling the weight of her family's struggles creeping between them. It's okay, he replied, his voice steady. I know you have to face this. Just don't lose sight of what we have. We can face anything together. His reassurance warmed her heart amidst the clouds of doubt gathering above. Suddenly, she felt the pull of the moment again. She had fought too hard to build this with Jake to let a single conversation threaten it all. Just as she leaned in to embrace him, her phone buzzed again. The sudden interruption made her jump. It was a new message, this time from her brother. I need to meet in person. Can you come by tomorrow? The world slipped from beneath her feet. Anxiety gripped her heart like a vice. Now it wasn't just a conversation, it was a face-to-face confrontation she had hoped to avoid. Would her brother understand? Would he accept her choice? As Jake glanced at her with concern, she felt the gravity of their future resting on this very moment. She took a deep breath and whispered, tomorrow might change everything, and as Emily clung to Jake, searching his eyes as if to borrow strength, she knew this was only the beginning. Would her brother's confrontation solidify Jake's place in her life, or would it drive them apart? The uncertainty loomed like a thunderstorm on the horizon, ready to shake their world once more. The morning sun broke through the lingering clouds, casting a golden glow over Willow Creek. Emily stood by her window, watching as life resumed its usual pace in her small town. The familiar sounds of laughter and chatter floated in from the street. Yet her heart felt heavy, caught in a whirlwind of emotions as she prepared for the conversation with her brother that would either solidify her commitment to Jake or threaten to unravel everything they had built together. With each tick of the clock, anticipation gnawed at her. She felt a rush of nerves racing through her veins, yet amid the chaos of anxiety, a quiet strength arose. In her heart, she knew she had to confront this. Love without honesty didn't stand a chance. She had learned that much in her journey with Jake. When her brother arrived, he appeared as a storm cloud, brooding yet protective, ready to shower judgment. Emily, he started, his voice low and serious. I know what has been going on. You and Jake, it worries me. Her defenses instinctively rose. Why? Because he's not like us? She asked, feeling the need to challenge him. Emily, it's not just about class. It's about trust. You're young and foolish, love at your age can be reckless, he replied, his concern palpable. No, you're missing it. Emily shot back, her heart racing. This isn't just a fling. With Jake, I feel alive, like I can chase my dreams. But it's not just about me. It's real. We've fought too hard to keep our love a secret from people like you. Her brother shifted uneasily, running a hand through his hair. I just don't want you to get hurt. I've seen people only chasing feelings, desperate for something that fades away. Is that what is happening? She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his fears press down on her. No, it's not just feelings. You of all people should understand that. You taught me to follow my heart. You taught me to not settle for less. I can't let your worries put a damper on my happiness. His brow furrowed as he considered her words. But what if you put everything on the line and lose? That question hung between them, a silent terrifying truth, but in that moment, Emily found her clarity. Then I lose, but at least I've lived. Isn't love worth the risk? Isn't the possibility of something beautiful better than staying safe behind walls of fear? Her brother's expression softened, vulnerability creeping in as he searched her eyes. I just need you to know that family matters. If this goes wrong, I want you to come back to me no matter what. Tears brimmed in Emily's eyes. I will. You're my brother, and I love you. But I want you to try to see Jake for who he is, not just his background. He is strong and kind, and he makes me believe in myself. A moment of silence enveloped them, a realization hanging heavy in the air. Slowly, her brother nodded. Okay. I still don't agree completely, but I'll give it a chance. You deserve to be happy, Em. The warmth of their bond rekindled, bridging the chasm that had formed between them. They embraced, and in that hug, Emily felt relief wash over her like a cleansing rain. When she stepped out into the bright afternoon sun, her heart felt lighter. She took a deep breath, reveling in her freedom. Everything felt right. Ready to fight for her love, she rushed to find Jake, a new determination lighting up her soul. As she spotted him by the old oak tree, laughter spilled from his lips. He looked up, met her gaze, and in an instant, everything fell into place. She ran to him, her heart beating wildly. Without hesitation, she launched herself into his arms. Em, you okay? Jake asked, genuine concern etched on his face. I'm more than okay. I talked to my brother, and he is willing to accept us. She exclaimed, exhilaration bursting forth. Really? His eyes widened with surprise and elation. Yeah. I told him the truth about us, and he finally understands. Emily felt like she was floating, every weight lifted. We can face anything together, Jake. His smile widened, wrapping her in warmth that felt like home. I knew you had it in you. You're so brave. They stood together under the oak tree, branches swaying gently above them, embracing their new reality. Together they took on the sunlight as they stepped forward into whatever awaited them, leaving behind the shadows of doubt. In that moment, the future stretched out before them, an endless road paved with dreams. No storm would dim the light of their love, they would carry each other through the uncertainties life threw at them. This was their moment, a fresh start grounded in the power of acceptance and courage. The essence of love ignited between them, filling the air with a promise of resilience, and just as the last remnants of doubt surrendered, a bright rainbow arched across the sky, signaling the dawn of something beautiful. Now it was clear, they were ready to face anything together, hand in hand, hearts filled with hope. So, if you still believe in love's transformative power like Emily and Jake, then join the journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the love alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible end. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because you need to support the channel. Don't wait not even one more second.